Precious, just please, let's move on. Let's move
You know,
on.
someone said someone that have podcasts usually say the most senseless things.
Welcome back to the Gulp and the Grain. I'm Denise,
And I'm Precious.
and this week we are kicking off things by announcing the winner of last week's draft pick. You guys really came through with the votes. A big thank you to our friends who picked up last minute. But yeah, Chaos Managers won as we had all foreseen.
Yay to Chaos Managers, which was me.
And now we all know how last episode went. Let's not get too much into it, but if you're new here, we are just two girls talking about school, stress, dreams, relationships, and everything in between. Let's get into it. So before we even get into this week's topic, I just wanted us to talk about our week. Precious, how was your week? Any feelings regarding the week?
Um, to be honest, my week was really a worky one.
Mm.
Um, I had no sleep this week. No sleep at all. No sleep at all.
She's been mentioning it the past
And
hour or so.
that's honestly right now that's all I can say about my week. Maybe I'll be able to say more in the next episode, but hopefully
I
I
hear
got
it.
some more sleep.
I hear it. Yeah. My week as well. My week was busy, barely any sleep. Just I had midterms like almost every single day of the week. I was drained, really drained, but I decided to rep my school today just to show that I still love you, even if you drain me.
Yay to you of tea.
Yay! Okay. So this week we are just talking about school. I know that's very broad, but I'll start us off. Um, what was your breaking point in school? So we put up a question on our socials, on threads and on X, just asking you guys the moment you realized school wasn't for you or you were not made for school. And yeah, so we're just going to dive into our own thoughts on that. So, Precious, what was your breaking point? And by that I mean, obviously, you graduated, which
Yeah.
means you had breaking points, but you survived.
I survived and hopefully yet to survive another one.
And
Um I don't know why we started with me. By
mm,
breaking point, what do you mean by
mm.
breaking point? Like what exactly?
I mean, like, oh, as the what were moments? It could be multiple. It could be one that's stands out where you felt like, you know what? I don't know why I'm doing this. I feel like I don't, not even not even want to be here but don't belong here almost. It could be by seeing your other people surviving while you're not, or moments where you felt this is not helping me at all. You looked at your future goals, dreams, and it could have been like a course you were required to take but just didn't see any use to it and you had failed it. So
Okay,
but
well, quite a number. Right from if it's just in college,
mhm.
quite a number. Right from kindergarten, I can those are
That's
countless because
crazy.
I had quite a number of them in elementary school
That
as
is
well.
crazy. The fact.
Um,
Oh
mhm.
wow. Please go on.
Well, but I will speak of the most recent one, which was in college. Okay, so see, I had this professor that would come into class. See, it wasn't even physical class, it was asynchronous, right? So he'd get in and he'd give us an assignment. He'd give us assignments. They were more of group projects actually. And he'd be like, okay, so I'm giving you this assignment. Go to YouTube, look up some videos, um, learn how to do it, and submit the assignment by this day, right?
Damn.
And he meant it, which was quite strange to be honest. But one of the things that he would make sure he'd say in all his classes whenever he'd start and actually even during his first class that we had with him. He was like, I'm here to teach you life lessons and not how
Interesting.
to do your assignments. So it was more of, hey, I'm studying accounting. Why am I learning about Elon Musk? Why am I learning different how to use different software that my friends that are doing computer programming are learning how to
As
use? Because
well.
this guy
Yeah.
was a programmer, by the way. Um, so it was quite funny, and we had different students come up to him and take him or well take the cases to the heads of department
Mm.
and be like, hey, this professor is doing this and this isn't he supposed to teach? And people are bold, like we are in a society where you're supposed to speak up. And so they ask him, what you're teaching me is not necessary. Why am I paying tuition yet
If I can
if
just
I'm
go
going to YouTube
online,
to do my
yeah.
assignments? And so we were struggling to do all these assignments ourselves, trying to beat the deadline because it gave us about 2 days to submit the assignments, which was really tough because we were doing everything on our own. But
Mm.
then it was at that point that I was like, okay, I can actually study on my own and get the certificate on my own without having to go to college. If I'm studying accounting, then that means there are videos on YouTube that I can find, watch, do some assignments that are probably somewhere online and submit them, pass, and go ahead and go forward. Today
Hmm.
I look back at that and I'm like, okay, this professor was actually right. He was teaching us that school does give us structure, but it does not really give you the drive that you would need. So that was more of my breaking point where I started to rethink, like, do I really need to go to college for this?
Interesting, because when you mention that it is so tied to one course, and you think, well, what about your other courses? When you say I realize maybe none, then you think if it was only because of this course, what about the others? The others want structure that way, I imagine. So, did you also think, okay, if this is like this, could you have passed the others without going to?
I'll be 100% honest with you. Most of my classes, if I didn't understand in class, as long as I had the book with me and as long as I could go somewhere, research, do more practice, I'd actually get it.
Hmm. Okay, I hear that, but and you know what, that makes sense. But then let's say it back to when you do decide to go out, maybe teach yourself, but still get the credential to a degree you've not left school. What about just was there a moment where you just feel like, nope, I'm not doing this program, I'm not doing any program, I am out of this.
Okay, well, for that, I actually I don't have so many of
Mm,
those.
no, I
It was
understand.
just for me it was more of things like I don't think I have to
Oh
sit
yeah.
in a class to actually
Mm.
learn this.
To be honest, for me, there have been a couple because I think since I started uni and got into it, I think high school for me was very, I'm not gonna say easy because I did my fair share of studying, and I think when you compare my first year of uni to my last year of high school, I studied more in my last year of high school than I ever did in my first year of uni. And that doesn't mean uni was easy, just means I was like, yeah, it hit me so hard my very first midterms that I realized like I don't know why I'm doing this. And that might be my moment. Was it was just like it felt like the effort I was putting in wasn't paying off. And for me, it wasn't just a thing of I can go teach myself. It was just like, do I even need this program? Why do I feel like there are easier programs? Okay, let's say organic chemistry. For those who've done organic chemistry in post secondary, you know what I'm talking about. And I was just thinking, okay, no. For me, it wasn't I'm gonna go teach myself, because you imagine either way I was teaching myself, because I would go into the lecture, not get anything, then go home, try to understand on my own, still not get it. And I was like, I just don't want to do this. So for me, it was entirely switch career paths and whatnot, because first year of uni was just me saying, I can't do this. I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't understand how the organic chemistry of high school switched to this organic chemistry where I can barely answer a single question. Because when I think of my high school, we spent a whole semester just learning the naming of organic compounds. Naming. We spent one lecture in uni where not even the whole lecture, where the prof just gave us quick names, suffixes, prefixes, and whatnot, and that was it. And my brain was like, oh, because I thought organic chemistry was mostly what I did in high school, to realize it only takes about 30 minutes of a lecture to go through what I spent a whole semester doing in high school. And that was just me saying, okay, I guess I can think of other things like starting a podcast.
Which is totally worth it.
I mean, when you say dropping my entire program just to do a podcast, did anyone around you notice those moments where you almost felt like giving up? And if yes, how did they react to it? You know, just seeing you being hit by school and knowing, yeah, it's not going great.
Well, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember at the end of one of my semesters, I hadn't done as well as I usually do because I'm an A+ student. But I remember talking to my mom, and she was back home. She's like, "Should I book you an air ticket?" And yeah,
Really?
she was like, "Should I book you an air ticket so you can come back home?"
Dang.
I was so frustrated. I felt like things were so hard. I was like, okay. I was like, no, mommy, let me push. You know, for her, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna push and go forward. But I'd say that was the most significant one.
Yeah. I know, I'm just imagining. I think, I think, I mean, it's sweet that she said, let me, I'm like, I can't even react to the whole thing because I'm like, wow. I think for me, people realize, no, guys, I the fake it till you make it kind of person. I think oh, I can't say I've always been. Obviously, things happen that make you the way you are, but for as long as I've known, of course, people could hear and you're like, I'm having it hard in school. But because they're non-visibly seeing me breaking,
Mm-hmm.
it was never something that seemed alarming enough that this kid has practically given up. I could never say it with a, oh my god, it was so hard. I will be like, it was hard, but it's okay. We are going to. So I pushed that, even if I've said, because I can never say it was too easy,
Yeah.
but it was very easy. I feel great. That also makes me, I'm like, yeah, no, it was. I always give that flat tone that can never really give anyone anything. So at the end, when I get my final results, the semester is done, everything, that I'm like, yeah, the semester was tough, but let's move on. I think we've all had them, haven't we?
Yeah, of course we have. We all have those
Uh,
moments.
but we've been here, we've been here. But then, okay, now let's talk about the consequences of staying in school after the certain moments. That sounds bad, but I promise this is just to set the tone for it. So, what do we think? What does school teach us beyond just academics? What is, how does it shape your habits, fears, your worldwide view? And what almost is a difference when you like you can think of your life just now as you are at work most of the time. You've not yet gotten to the point of going back. What's different? What things have you gained? And you can say this is specifically from school, but non-academic, of course.
I'll be 100% honest with you. The first thing would be there is knowledge. Okay, of course, earlier on I did say that you can learn some things outside school, but then given the fact that we all come from families where the whole idea is go to school, go to school, graduate, get a good job, and live happily ever after. Of course, most of the things that we have learned are from school. And there are times I'm at work and someone else has to do something that I probably have to do and they can't do it. And they're like, okay, Precious can do it. And that is something that I learned from back in school.
But if we were to look outside the profession, if they were to separate the profession from you and look at you as a person without that profession, what could you say are things about you that are just, yeah, it could be some sort of resilience. I think things something like
Of
that.
course, yeah, that's very key. Resilience. I wasn't going to mention that, but that is very key. The other thing that school taught me, or that school teaches that we apply into our other world, would be, all these group assignments that are given to us. At the end of the day, you get to your workspace or to different environments, and you realize that you have to coordinate with different people. You have to work with different people no matter what. You have to speak on phone with different people. And if you don't know how to actually get together and align yourselves and actually be like, okay, this is what's going to work, then you're unable to do that. So that is one essential skill that I picked up from school: teamwork. Structure. By structure, well, I think Denise would be much better than me at this, and I think school has taught her really well. But
Okay.
yeah, so with school we have a whole schedule to follow, right?
Yeah,
And sometimes with work, you get into work, you have a whole bunch of tasks to do. And so if
mm,
you don't know how to actually group all these things together and be like, okay, I'm going to do this, going to do this first, you will not know how to prioritize. And that is an essential life skill that you do need, prioritizing different things.
definitely. I think when you just say structure, I think yes, school has taught me, but I think it's also the things I have to do outside. Definitely, school has given me the fact that there can be structure,
Yeah.
but me having to apply it and have structure almost be a part of me is the fact that I had so many things on top of school that I then had to sort of organize in a schedule and make it work. And school taught me the idea of schedule that there can. So I think that's true. But then you think of it as can people learn that outside of school as well? Hmm. Yeah, we won't touch on that. I think another one for me is just um there is a certain degree of what validates me in way of in sort of when I think back when I had just started high school, which wasn't here, it was in Uganda. We had this. I think it's a very brutal way of not even grading, but more how those grades are presented to us, where they put up your grades, everyone's grades on a list, and you are given positions based on who did best and then who did worst. So if you had like, oh yeah, 100% average, of course you're number one. But then you have kids who are like, let's say in a class of about 300 kids, we used to have that. You have a kid who's like, whose position in class is the 300th. That's not, they are the last in the class based on grades. And I think that sort of validation by numbers, by grades, is something that's has to a degree carried into my life, and not necessarily as a good thing because I'm just saying things that I've carried that validation where there are so many instances in life where numbers really matter to me. They define to a degree, I'm not gonna say my value, but I think you guys get what I'm saying. Well, to me, I hate statistics. I'm not going to lie. I don't like looking at everything through the statistics lens. Statistics lens, guys. Can't freaking speak English. But
I love it. I love
but
it
it's
though.
just because of that, because I know the kind of mindset I fall into when I'm just looking at everything through numbers. I hate that there it's still in me. So I hate statistics. Don't like them at all.
But, I think I don't know. I don't know why they do grade us. I don't know why they graded us that way. But I think, well, I usually try to compare. I usually do this. I have this thing where I'm like, okay, so we did this in school. How is it brought back in my work life? They did this to us in school. How is this showing up in my life outside school? So I feel like the grading with the grading thing, they graded us in school. Yeah, they do grade us in school. And then outside school, no one's grading
That's what I'm
you.
saying. I was about to say no one's ranking
No
me
one's
on such
grading
a
you.
scale outside, and I'm like, well,
But everyone is watching how you're moving.
yeah, they are internally grading you. They know
Yes.
that this person is best at this thing, then this person comes next. They know you're the last person they would go to for this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as you don't have a whole list to look at, everyone has their own
Exactly. Yeah.
internal personal list. Oh,
True.
I see what you're
Mm-hmm.
saying. Yeah, but I just think it's too brutal having to look at that list.
Really is. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Or from that, why do you think? Because something that we hinted on was when we talked about all these skills we gain, and then we said you can gain these skills from school as well. Why is dropping out or choosing not to pursue post secondary still looked up as some sort of failure, or something that's going to most likely lead to failure?
Okay.
I know.
So one, society, right? It's what they've put in our minds. If you don't go to school, and not that I'm anti-school. I'm not against school. I am not against it at all. I am not.
Yeah.
I would actually advise anyone out there to go to school as long as you know what you're going for. But it's society. It's what we've grown up into. Like I said earlier on, um, go to school, get a graduate, get a good job, and live happily ever after. Number two, usually, I would say, let's leave this setting. Let's get back to where we come from. The people that haven't gone to school usually don't have the life that you would call a luxury life. They don't have the life that you would want to have. But you look at people that have, gone to school, got their degree, got their masters. It's like, yay, they are doing it and they're up there. So I would say that's two. And then,
Before you continue on that one, I do just wanna give my thought on it
mhm.
before we move on to your next one, just so I don't it does not jump out of my mind. I think when you said when we go back to where we came from, I think you also think of it as it depends on what career someone has decided to pursue. Some people do pursue their post secondary, but still don't get the life you would think that a student who has pursued. And I have seen people who've known, just speaking from the people I've met, that have a good life. And I think because when you said oh yeah, people who've studied and done all these things, all I could think of were these big professions that our parents always wanted us to say when they asked us what do you want to become. They want you to say I want to be a doctor or an engineer or a pilot or
Or
a
a
lawyer,
president.
or basically all those things. Yeah, no one wanted to hear you say you wanted to become an artist.
No one wanted to hear you say you want to become a teacher.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. So it depends on what, at least for then, and for that society, that different culture, it also highly depended on what you are studying. Because yes, the doctors, even though to a degree you could say, are they paid enough? But are most of them living a better life than someone else? Maybe. But then you think of Well, if I did my degree in teaching, I did post secondary, I did even more, became a teacher, and I'm probably not doing as well as someone who, let's say, did not finish their post secondary but went into the working life, got into some sort of, let's say, fixing cars and whatnot, made some money, made their own business, their own motor car fixing business or whatnot. It became big, and because where we came from, it's everything is so tight to society. Everyone knows everyone. You're in the
Exactly. Yep.
society. They all know this person is the one they go to for these issues. They build one community. They have loyalty. People who come to them are not just gonna switch and go to someone else because they trust them. So they have what you might call a stable source of income, and they are doing well. So I'm saying, when you compare those two, then you can't really say that it is
See, now that's the part where these two things conflict. In 2025, um, is getting a degree really the point? Does it guarantee you having a good lifestyle?
I don't think anything guarantees you having a good life. Like when you
Exactly.
say 100%, I don't think there is such a thing.
So it doesn't, that's why I go back to society, right?
Yeah.
With society comes stereotypes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more of how are you doing it? It's more of your mindset. I don't want to say luck as well, but it's more of how you handle things at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, oh, one interesting thing I saw, and I think this we've all seen in different ways online, is people who dropped out of school having some sort of success. I saw a post by someone. She's like, "Oh, I bought a new house. I have a new car and whatnot." And then there was this caption she added of, "Not bad for a college dropout." And I'm like, and then, I mean, you barely ever see graduate students saying, putting up, "Oh, I bought a house, I bought this." Not bad for a graduate student, not bad for someone who's going to school. So that also almost reflects the stereotype of when you drop out, you're expected to fail, but you're not. So when I looked at that, all I could think was, okay, you've made something for yourself. You probably had maybe had people telling you you are not going to, but in the society we live in, I don't think that's still true. And I don't think that the biggest number of people believe you drop out, you're obviously going to fail.
Yep.
But it's just
Sometimes it's prestige, to be honest. But when you actually get into reality, the reality check is your adaptability at the end of the day is what determines your success.
and I also think your abilities, as in sort of, there are things you can and things you can't do, because just as a science student, I'm going to say this without even any sort of, anyway, I cannot pass a geography class. No, let's say history, guys, let's say history. I could study that stuff and I would feel like it's much harder than this weird genetics class I'm taking, because one, it's not part of my interests. I don't think it's a definition of which is harder all known. It's not part of my interests or the biggest part of my foundation, or even where I'm thinking of going further. So I think that carries into, are you going to choose to drop out? Are you going to choose to stay? Okay, I have a very interesting question here. Do you think school teaches fear of failure more than it teaches resilience?
That's a very good question. I actually didn't see that coming. Um, if you asked me that about 5 years back, I'd say fear of failure. I would definitely say 5 years back. Actually, well, 5 to 10 years back, I
Yeah.
would say fear of failure. Why? That is because
Guys, I'm trembling for what she's going to say next, because
fear school. taught us fear of failure 5 to 10 years back. And that is because I was whipped for failing. I had to face and not just me, we had to face physical punishment for, you know, not living up to the expectations,
Yeah.
for getting 80% in an exam.
Or for getting 99% in an exam where they think this one mark was too easy for you to lose out on.
So it wasn't just that you felt it. It wasn't just because when you get 99%, there is a mental torture that you have of, oh, I would have gotten a
Yeah, I
hundred
would have gotten
percent.
a hun.
So
Yeah.
no, they made sure that you
You
actually
felt,
felt
physically
it
felt it.
physically.
Yep.
So it was more of fear of failure. I was honestly reading my books so I wouldn't get whipped. But today, now that I've grown up a little bit more, school teaches more of resilience.
Mhm. Yeah, I think for me, I mean, yes, back because I did experience just the similar thing. I'm not gonna say very similar thing, but I think even now when I think of it to a degree, I think school does teach resilience. But I mean, is there a certain degree of fear that I still have over failure? Because I think of it as, let's say, for times when, let's say, I was applying to a program that had a certain pass mark, a grade, a minimum grade for acceptance or whatnot, and I got even below that. All I can think about is, let's say I got back five of my exams, I have one more to get my average, and I know that okay, to get, let's say, this 85 average, which is their minimum, I need to at least have 90 in my upcoming exam. There's a fear tied to that, because sometimes we make these plans and it's your only plan. You don't have a plan A, B, and C. You just have a plan, and you don't know what comes next. Of course, things come next. We've all had those moments where we've not lived up to that pass mark, and that's me just saying it as a substitute for whatever you were trying to get to. And of course, life moves on, you figure it out. But in that moment, it can feel like it's the end of the world for you. So I think to that wasn't that those moments don't teach me resilience in any sort of way. They are so tied to me just being scared, just being hurt after the fact of I didn't get it, and now this is resulting, just feeling like my life's ending. But I think a big thing about it as well is the resilience, of course. Just I was doing two programs for the first start of the semester, and all I'm gonna say is the resilience I have from those few weeks of it is crazy. Because when I lost one of the programs, my one timetable seemed like it was empty, and mind you, I was still doing the maximum number of courses. Some of my friends are doing 5 or 4. I'm doing 6, and they still think 6 is too much. But I feel like okay, this is not enough. I need to add more. I need to find something else. But not because oh it's too little or anything, but because right now I'm more capable of handling something bigger than that. One last thing to add to all this is this isn't even about dropping out, because that's not even the point, but it's more we've been told or we've been made to feel like staying in school is the only safe choice. And a lot of it takes a while before that sort of mindset is deconstructed. Because you see the success stories, but you also think of what if they are the one in a million and you're just not? You're one of the 900 and something people left without that. Because, yeah, there's no denying people succeed, but there's also no denying that there are people who don't. Even with education, there are people who succeed and there are people who don't. But there's a question of what makes you feel safer. And for everyone, that's different. Just something to ponder on. Just one last question around all this is, what does learning look like for you beyond classroom and grades? to start us off this time, for me, it looks more like, when I decide to pursue all these things totally unattached or unrelated to my program sense. So that to me is a degree of you almost pursuing things you like. And when I say things you like or you think you like, it's more like it's because some interests last a week and then you're done with it. So it's this continuous chase for almost something so unrelated to why you're studying in school. Because either way, I've not dropped out, I've not stopped. That is still continuing. But because the degree, in most cases, it's not the most fun thing, or it's not the thing you're most interested in. So you chase these things outside, but you're still learning, ain't you? Because yeah, learning does, yeah, it's messy.
It is. It is.
You?
Well, for me, learning outside school, I would say part of that. Yes, I would take part of what you said. And then also, learning outside school for me starts from when I open my eyes. Since I spend most of my time at work right now,
Yeah.
I would say in my day to day activities, each phone conversation that I have with a person on phone, I'm learning how to, these are very little things that we take for granted, but each phone conversation that I usually have with people at work, I'm learning how to communicate better. I am learning how to handle rejection. So I'm also, well, I learn all these different things and how to, well, for my actual activities and the things that I like to do, like learning how to play the piano, which I'm already good at.
Oh god, this just kills me. You're just saying that one. It's like a trigger for me to just laugh. But
But to sum it all up, for me, learning outside school is in each and every activity that I do, in every conversation that I have, in every mistake that I make, basically everything.
yeah, no, I believe that as well. Because I just something I was thinking. I'm like, life when you think about it is just some sort of other classroom. Because when we say learning does not stop, it really does not. You're learning something new
I love what you
every
said.
day.
Oh, sorry, but I love what you said. Life is a classroom.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
It's just less structured, more messy, but life is a classroom with maybe harder lessons than in school.
Yeah, the only difference between life and school is that with life the test comes before the lesson.
Ooh. Oh, that's so true,
Yeah.
actually. When you think about it, that's so true. Yeah, anyways, just let us know what you think about learning and all, because we've let you know. So, back to draft pick, guys. Draft pick last week was amazing, not gonna lie. I think all you guys will agree as well. I think we all loved it. For this week, I'm so excited for this week's draft pick because it's kind of different from last week's draft pick. As you can notice, we are not shuffling any cards or anything. We're not deciding between some weird predetermined teams or something. We are going to try to make the perfect school schedule. So for all the second post-secondary students, we are required, the maximum course load is usually 6 courses. We are each going to pick 6 courses for our perfect schedule, and you guys are going to pick whose schedule you'd rather have. So in this, we included courses that are already offered in school, very niche courses, but also courses that are non offered in school that should be offered in school. The only rule we said was we're going to pick 6 courses each. Three of your courses must be courses already offered in school. We have a list of 20. We are just going to read them to you. Course 1, Finding Purpose.
Data analytics.
Engineering Design.
Boundaries at work.
Scam Awareness.
Sociology.
Food and Nutrition.
Hard conversations.
Rent Basics.
Political science.
Entrepreneurship.
Breakup recovery.
Escape and Exit Tactics.
Public speaking.
Psychology.
Basic home fixes.
Friendship 101.
Environmental science.
Introduction to the Human Body.
Credit card management.
Okay. Well, now who goes first? Okay, Precious, you know what? I'll give this to you.
Yeah, I feel like you should go first.
Really? I'm going to go first.
I know what you're going to pick.
She's offered it to me, guys. I'm going to
Let
go.
me let you have this one.
Yes. Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. So, my very first one, I'm going to say breakup recovery.
Of course.
There is no of course here, guys. It's just people are too heartbroken for me to handle.
And you're not. No.
Me, my heart is whole.
Okay.
My my heart can't be touched. I won't say more than that. Precious?
I will say hard conversations.
I was gonna steal that one. Guys, just know. I think it's really good, yeah. Yeah. I love hard conversations. I train for hard conversations. You should not want to have a hard conversation with me. I am going to win. But you should actually. You will learn some skills. You will learn from me how to, have it. Okay. My next one is going to be food and nutrition. I love food. I love to eat. I love to
You know, we
bake.
had back in the day in high school. We had people that used to do food and nutrition. Like it
Yeah.
was a subject, yeah.
I know.
And it was quite amazing because after they cook their food, after doing their exam for 5 hours, okay, I don't know, I think it was
Yeah.
3 to 5 hours, they tell you guys to bring your dishes and then you go with your dishes and then they get back with food, and it's quite amazing.
I know. We used, I didn't do it, but yeah, we used to eat their food that they had painstakingly cooked.
Exactly.
But I wonder if they even used to have the appetite to eat it knowing they're going to be graded.
I feel like I wouldn't.
No, me neither. I'm like, by the time I've cooked a dish and then I'm being told, well, it depends. No, you get, I love food
But
too
sometimes
much.
with food, it's
to-
like, I'm gonna eat it because I've been in here for all these
That's what I'm
hours.
saying. I also thought, and I was like, imagine I cook this gorgeous, gorgeous dish. I'm not just gonna give it away, but
Okay, and
Delicious.
the next one for me would be psychology.
I hear it. I hear it. Reading people's minds, understanding why people do what they do. Sounds dark, and I love it.
I love it, every part of it.
Okay, my next one is political science. Only because I feel like for those of us who've not done any sort of political science course as a course or had known and got to even be interested in politics, for someone like me, at least this is just speaking for myself, I find it hard. And you can know it's the basics of how do you even know what is right for you when you're just hearing I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and the politics around it, because most of the time it's not even about people saying I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Sometimes it could be a thing of, if I say I'm gonna do this, how does it make the other party, how does it affect the other party? Is it a contradiction people love? Is it one people hate? So there is more to it than just what they're saying, which can be really hard to read. Well, I guess psychology helps you read minds.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. I don't even know what I was saying, but Precious, just please let's move on. Let's move
You know,
on.
someone said, "Remember that her podcasts you should listen to most senseless things." Okay, escape and exit tactics.
Hmm. Love it. I agree. Well, no, 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 no. Yeah, that's just some schedule, guys. Back
Proceed,
to
love.
main. I'm going to say scam awareness. There are just so many scams out there. So many scams even I received just regarding, especially during tuition times. And the fact that these people know how to time it around the time like tuition deadlines come up or when you're starting school and they're like, yeah, you've not paid here some minimum amount. If you wanna make this process fast, send it to this account, this email. Crazy. Precious.
Introduction to the human body.
Okay. I see it. I agree. I don't know why I keep explaining her
I think you
points.
should mind your schedule, Denise.
Thanks for the reminder. I will finding purpose.
Mm.
Don't we all just wanna be
Mm.
told how not to think about, at least how not to go around life jumping from one thing to another because we don't know what basic things to look at. Anyway, I want some more.
Credit card management.
Hmm. I hear it. I want to explain this time.
Yep, let's move on.
My very last one is going to be entrepreneurship. Reason being,
Mm.
I think just outside of your being trained to, oh, I've heard this somewhere before. You're being trained, well, not in this, but you're being trained to be someone's employee. Why aren't you trained to be your own boss? I think that's what entrepreneurship does.
It
At
does,
least
yeah,
you
yeah, that's what it
want
does. Yeah.
to be able to start some sort of something, some sort of business. So I think just learning the basics of it is also worth having for whatever.
My last one would be, guys, watch for this. Denise chose to go first because she knew she would take all the good ones. But
Funny.
data analytics.
I won't explain. Oh, okay. Do you know how much I fight the urge not to explain why I think our course is a good one? Because Precious gives me the eye of. I'm going to give each of us one honorable mention just to add it there. So I think these are all such great courses. It can be from anywhere just because we were limited to how many niches we can have. But an honorable mention, if you want it, it's not part of your schedule, but just so people know it was in your mind. Any? Do you have any? You can go first this time. You have a whole list to pick from.
Okay, friendship 101.
Of course, my eyes were skimming the list and I saw it and I was like, she's definitely going to pick this one. I have my last one, environmental science. The the only reason I really even wanted us to have an honorable mention was for this one specifically. I think the environment is important. I think we need to take care of it, and I felt bad realizing it wasn't part of my six. So I decided to give us an honorable mention. That was
So
known.
this was all in your favor.
That was not a pre-said rule or what not, but I just think putting it out there. Environment. Let's protect the environment. We love the environment. We love green. But yeah, guys, let us know who you think won. As you can tell, draft pick was a bit messy this time, but I think it was really
I
fun
think it
as
was
well.
fine, yeah.
I That's what I'm saying. I think it
Yeah.
was really fun as well. Don't forget to pick your favorite. Precious, any last words before we close off this episode?
School and the life outside school or the hustle life are both essential, equally essential. You just have to find your balance in between. And once you get how to make the two work for you, then that is just excellent. You have scored highly. in this world. That's all I can say.
Okay, then that's it for this week's episode of The Gap on the Grind. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll be back next week. Don't forget to follow, give us a 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, wherever you're listening. I had a couple of people actually ask me, and they're like, "Oh, are you guys on Spotify as well? Are you guys on, Apple Podcasts?" I'm like, "Guys, we are everywhere.
Everywhere.
If you can find one place we are known, just let me know, and I will
We'll be
put us that
there.
will be there." Anyway, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, like, drop a comment. Don't forget to watch our threads X, our socials for any prompts that come up. Anytime we need your help voting, just so you guys can be a part of the podcast as well. And of course, let us know which team you think won this team's draft pick. But of course, we all know who we love.
We
We all know
mhm.
who picks the better, you know.
We all know who lets the other one pick better.
No, guys, that's no. We can't we can't be saying that. She's trying to take a win away from me. A win she can foresee coming in the future or whatnot. But no, no, no. We are going to have a point system actually. Right now, I have 1 point. Well, she has a smiley face, I guess, somewhere there.
Okay, guys. Thank you for watching and see you next week.